Okay, this is part 2 of the visual tutorial on how to use the Fulcrum app. Okay, so the boat's in the water. We're about to head out to check our nets. All right, at this point in time, we just open up the Fulcrum app again. All right, as I mentioned before, it's a good idea just to hit the refresh button each time you open the app. Okay, so up in the top right hand corner, just hit the two red arrows there, and the app's ready to go. Okay. So imagine we're driving out to the in your boat. You've arrived at the first line of nets that you deployed yesterday. Okay, you've pulled the net in. The fish are boxed up. All right. I suggest you just keep track of how many damaged fish came in with the net. So you know how many heads there were, or how many partially eaten fish there were in the net, and just keep track of those because we want to record that information here if we can. All right, so the net's in the boat, the catch has been processed. Before we drive out to haul in our second line for the day, we just want to capture that catch information in the app for line number 1. All right, to do that, just hit the record in this list that corresponds to your net sets. Okay, so the nets went in the water on the 8th of May, so we click on that, and it'll take you to the screen here that we finished up with the previous day that shows you the day the fishing commenced and the net set information, within which there's 2 items, each corresponding to our 2 lines of nets. All right, so hit the net set information field, and there's our 2 lines of nets that we want to revisit and update. So we've just hauled line number 1, so click on that, and it'll bring you back to this screen where all the fields that we populated yesterday show up, about our set times and interactions that occurred at that point in time. But now that we've hauled our net, we want to populate the bottom 4 fields here. Okay, so you'll see haul date there. That'll automatically update with the current date. The third to last field there is haul time. Just click on that. Again, that'll populate with the current time. And if you enter this information as soon as you haul that net, that's all you need to do. Just click on it, and the current time will populate. The third to last field there, seals present at haul. All right. Again, we're just interested in whether or not there were any seals at the net when you were hauling it in. In this case, there was 1. All right. And if you hit yes, you'll get that drop down, this additional field here that says number of seals at haul. Okay, so just record the number of seals that were present at the haul there. Okay, so that's done. I had 1. And the second to last field here is seal damage to gear. So was there any seal damage to the nets in that line? Okay, it's simple yes no answer here. I'm going to put yes. All right, and we're not asking you to try and quantify or measure the extent of the damage to the gear here, because it's, as you know, it's virtually impossible, given that most of the gear has existing damage, and short of marking those existing holes before each net set, it's going to be virtually impossible to measure how many new holes are in that gear. Okay, so it's a simple yes no answer to whether or not there was damage to the gear in this particular line. And finally, you'll notice the catch information field popped up there. Okay, we want to enter information about the fish that we just caught and lost. All right, currently there's no information in there because we haven't entered it, but we want to. So go down to the bottom right hand corner again and hit the plus sign. It'll take you to this screen, and the first field here is catch species. So if you click on that, you'll get a drop down menu with all the catch species that you guys are likely to catch, and just click on the one that you want to record information for. Here I had golden perch. All right, I had 6 kilos retained catch. Okay, so the second field here is retained catch. Click on that, 6 kilograms. The third field is the number of fish discarded due to seal damage. Okay, the number of fish, not kilos, but the number of fish. Okay, so if you pulled up your net and you had 5 golden perch that had been, had their tails bitten off or their bellies eaten out, you'd put 5 here. Okay, we acknowledge that there is probably going to be fish that are completely removed from the net with no trace. Okay, so we're well aware that this number that you enter here is going to be the minimum number of fish that have been lost due to seals in that net set. Okay, and that's a key consideration for us when we interpret this data. All right, and the final field here is the number of fish that were just discarded due to other reasons. Okay, so whether if they were undersized fish or they were damaged fish due to crab damage or whatever, you can just record that information here. So I'm just going to put 5 there as well. And that's important for us. I mean, we're not interested in why those other fish were discarded, but it gives us a total number of fish that were discarded from which we can determine the proportion of discards that can be attributed to seals. Okay, so in this case, a total of 10 fish were thrown back, 10 golden perch were thrown back, 50% of which were due to seal damage. And that's important information for us. Okay, and that's it. That's all we need to do for golden perch. Go up to the top right hand corner there and hit save. And I've just got one other catch species, and that was bony herring. So go down to the bottom right again, hit plus. I'm going to step through this pretty quickly. Bony brim, I had 7 kilos this time of retained catch. I had 2 bonies that had their bellies eaten out, and there were no other bonies discards. Okay, so I'm done there. So I can hit done on the right hand side and save again up in the top right. So all my catch information's in there now, and it's done. Okay, so I can go up to the top left and press back. It'll show you all the fields again for that net set which have been filled and completed. All right, you've got the opportunity down the bottom there to add any notes that you want to, so you can click on that and just, you know, add some notes there if you want. Once you've done and you want to send that off, okay, just hit save at the top right hand corner, and the record for that line is complete now. All right, it'll show you there the time that it was set and the time that it was retrieved. Okay, so the same thing, you drive across to your second line of nets now. You do exactly the same thing. You pull the net in, you box up your fish, you keep track of how many damaged fish there were, and at that point in time, before you head off to check your third line, you want to collect the information and record it in the app. So click on line number 2 here, and away you go again. Okay, so down the bottom, you've got haul date, you got haul time. All right, you can record the number of seals present at the haul. Okay, were there any seals present? No. Seal damage to gear? No, there wasn't any. The catch information tab will pop up at this point. Click on that, you can add your catch information. Okay, so go down the bottom right there and press the plus symbol once again. Enter your catches. So I had 11 kilos of perch here. There were none damaged due to seals, and I had no other discards, so that record's done. Okay, so I can hit done and hit save on the right hand side, and I had no other catch species in this particular net set, so it's complete. So I go to back up in the top left, just double check all the fields are correct. If they're not, they need editing or whatever, you can go back in there and do that at this point. Okay, but I don't need to correct anything or edit anything, so I can hit save. And the 2 records that I had for my fishing day are complete now. All right, all the nets are back in the water or in the boat. I'm going back to box up my fish and send them off to market. Okay, so at this point in time, before you shut down your iPad, to wrap up these records, just go up to the top of the screen here and press back. Okay, it'll take you back to this screen. You just want to hit save at this point in time. It'll take you back to the initial screen that we started out at the very beginning. Okay, and to send off all the information and to store it, you just want to hit refresh one final time at the top right hand corner of the screen. Okay, and then that will send off all that information and store it in the cloud external to this device. Okay, and that's it, guys. So at this point you can shut that down, and the next day when you set gear, you can go out and do exactly the same thing. Okay, so thank you very much for tuning in. If you need any questions answered or you're having troubles with the app while you're on the water, feel free to give me a call on my mobile 0439 228 533, and I'll do my best to try and assist you where I can. So thank you very much.